Welcome, friends. Come sit at my art desk. My name is Shayda Campbell, and today we're drawing with colored pencils. I've been doing a lot of mixed media lately, like watercolor with pencil or marker, but today I want to focus on pencil crayons. So I have this beautiful craft paper sketchbook from Muji. I'll try to link something similar. I have my colored pencils, and this project starts real simple. Draw a rounded rectangle, and from there, it gets really fun and really pretty. Welcome back to the channel where we make art and it's fun, not scary. So, I have been really busy lately. Behind the scenes, I'm working on a ginormous project that I will be able to talk about soon, and I'm excited to share more. It hasn't given me a ton of time to do art just for me, and so today what I wanted to do is sit down and just do something fun and chill and simple. So I didn't even have a reference photo for this. We are just drawing that rounded rectangle. That's going to be the vase, and we're going to do a fun bouquet where we kind of make these scribbly flowers, and we're just using colored pencil, and we're just making it up as we go along. Does that sound good? It sounds good to me because I've just been stressing about different work stuff and I want to do something fun together. Now, when it comes to illustrating a made-up bouquet, made-up floral arrangement, a good idea is always to start with your larger flowers. So I've decided to do these large white flowers, and that's simply because I like the way white shows up on craft paper. So now that we have some large flowers, and we've done them in varying sizes and angles, and you can see how I kind of just scribbled a semicircle for the angled flowers, now we can do something a little bit smaller and maybe choose a flower shape that's a little longer instead of round. So we're just going to vary the color, vary the shape. For this one, I'm doing these kind of messy, they're just messy shapes. I don't even know what to call those. They kind of look like a little butterfly shape or little heart shapes. I'm drawing them along this messy curved line, and I started with a light cool purple, which also I love the way that shows up on the craft paper. And then I'm adding some scribble shading using a dark violet. So really very loose. The idea here is that we use our pencil crayons almost like paint, and we're just scribbling and moving the pencil around, and the shapes that we create don't matter so much. You can be quite free, and that's what we want today. We can do another little messy line here, and I'm just scribbling some little dots and bigger dots, and all of a sudden we're getting the look of a kind of loose floral arrangement, maybe like a wildflower floral arrangement. So think about the colors that you would like to use. You could use any colors. Remember, we're just making it up as we go along. I do want to incorporate another large or medium-sized round flower. So now I'm going to do something that resembles like a poppy or an anemone, just kind of flower where you might draw a circle for the stamen and then do 4 or 5 big petals all around that circle. And these can be different sizes. That's not a bad idea. Some might be a little smaller, and that just adds a nice contrast and interest to your arrangement. So I'm kind of just placing these in and around my daisies. We'll call the white ones daisies. If you are wondering about the brand of my colored pencils, I have the Polychromos from Faber-Castell, which I love, and then the Polycolor from Lyra. They're both excellent. They're both artist quality, but you can absolutely do this with student quality pencils, like something like Prismacolor is good quality for the money. I will link all of mine in the video description. I'm going to try to find a sketchbook that resembles this craft paper one from Muji. So I did some more, we'll call them poppies there, started with a light purple and then shaded with that same burgundy. And then I am adding starbursts to the center of the daisies using a dark yellow or like a light brown. And then I did a dot of black. And then for the daisies that are on an angle, I just do a semicircle with the dark brown, light brown. And then you can add some black lines there. And I think that looks cute. Anytime I want to draw a bouquet like this where I just want to be free and not overthink it and make it up as I go along, I follow the same formula. Draw the vessel first, like the vase could have been taller or wider or whatever, and then do some large flowers right in the center. There should be 1 or 2 types. And then around those flowers on the perimeter, you're going to have these longer, loose stems and flowers. And these could be leaves. But you can see I did another stem or 2 stems of that like butterfly flower. It looks like little butterflies all along the stem. And then we need another small flower. So I chose a very light yellow, and I'm just doing 4 petal flowers, almost like a little buttercup. So really loose and easy to draw. That color doesn't show up amazing on the craft paper, but we can blend in a darker yellow, and I think that will look really good. I love blending my colored pencils to see what kinds of colors I can create. And then we'll finally grab a green, and we'll start adding some green to our bouquet. I'm going to join those 3 together with some loose, straight stems. And then while I have that green here, I can begin to add more little branches and stems sort of shooting off the bouquet or connecting these purple butterfly thingies. And then what we'll do is we'll take our green and we'll add some larger leaves, and we'll also start filling in the center of this arrangement. And this is a pretty easy process. We're just going to do a bunch of vertical lines, like lots of groupings of lines to sort of fill in and hint at the look of stems between the flowers. So at this point, I'm just doing 2 things. I want to fill in all of the negative space at the center of the arrangement, and then add lots of little stems and branches going off of the perimeter of the arrangement so that it looks wild and messy, but in the center, it looks dense. And so you can see me doing some large leaves and some tiny delicate stems. And then I've done a bunch of green near the center. I'm actually going to add 1 more purple flower. I mean, I'm just scribbling and just coloring in. It doesn't even really look like a flower, but that is okay. It sort of sits underneath the other flowers. And we'll go around some of these other petals and maybe add a bit more line shading to make the flowers look, like they're almost in motion. And then I think I'm quite happy with that. So let's grab a light gray, and we're going to trace over the shape of the vessel to make it look like a glass. And I'll add a little gray at the top there. And I'm just doing a rounded line to create some depth at the bottom there. And then I'll also do a few white highlights, just really quickly, a few white little scribbles and lines. And then once that is all in place, we can take that same green that we've used. I'm using sort of a dark, warm green, and we're just going to do a whole bunch of lines. Some are a little darker, some are lighter, you can see, and they don't quite reach to the bottom. They're quite dense at the top, and then they fan outward. And that gives us a really nice look of the flowers sort of sitting within the vessel. And the vessel looks like glass. You've done some little white highlights. It's such a simple formula, but it always looks nice, especially on the craft paper. A lot of these flowers are just what I call my scribble flowers. We're doing very loose, expressive lines with our colored pencils. And I have created a worksheet to help you make some scribble flowers of your own. You could try them with colored pencil or maybe even pastel or brush pen. And that worksheet is available on Patreon. It's just $3 a month to sign up, or $33 for an entire year. It's a great way to support this channel and allow this free content to continue. Now, moving along, I added a darker gray to give the vase a little more definition, and then I'm happy with this, but I think it would look so cool if we added a shadow. It will just make this piece into something really interesting. And so what I did, I'm going to show it as I work in colored pencils so you can really see. You're going to take 2 lines, one from each corner of the vase, and bring them out on an angle. And then from there, once you do that little sort of rectangular area, you're just going to do this big, messy, scribbly area. I think really anything goes when you're doing the shape of a shadow. You can get quite free with it, as long as you have a few of the little branches that reach out and that clustered area near the center. And the shadows can be any color. I love drawing shadows because you can make them teal or purple or gray. Anything goes. And so I chose this sort of periwinkle blue, and then I repeated a bit of that blue on the vase, on the glass itself, so just to create some color harmony within the piece. And then I'm going to put my signature here. And for anyone that likes to know the time, this took me about half an hour. So just really a simple, fun exercise to sit down. If you need that extra guidance, get the Scribble Flowers worksheet at patreon.com/Shayda Campbell, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this.